So, there have been plenty of Coinless challenges lately, and at this point it almost seems like we're running out of Mario games to cover. So from there, the logical extreme is to look to the spin-offs. And when we've got a title like 2014's Treasure Tracker, the name makes me curious. So today, let's see, can we beat Captain Toad Treasure Tracker without touching a single coin? Well, first, to look into this one, we're going to need to know where coins come from, because we're going to need to know how to avoid them. So in Treasure Tracker, you can get coins by killing enemies, smashing blocks, throwing certain items, holding an enemy in place long enough with a stylus or cursor which auto-collects a coin for your hard work, and obviously picking them up, invisible or not. So if that's how we can collect coins in the game, then what makes this so different from other Mario Coinless runs? Well, see, Toad can't jump, which makes it much harder to avoid coins that come into your path. There's no time limit to worry about, which is good, because we need a lot of patience for this challenge. And then we don't have any access to any power-ups that would help us avoid in any other way. Think a Tanuki suit or even Cappy. Neither of those are in this run, and it's going to be a lot harder because of it. So if those are the basics for the run, and we already know our main objective of not trying to touch a single coin, then what's off limits? Really? Not a whole lot, but at minimum, I personally didn't use the freebie invincibility given out when you die too much on a stage. It just didn't feel right. And second player could be banned, but the addition of throwing turnips actually collects coins, and really didn't help in my experience, so I'm not sure if it's that necessary here. But with all that out of the way, let's get into the run. Our first book starts off plain and simple with the captain himself. And as you might guess, level 1 is pretty easy peasy. There's not much of a hassle here, just don't go for any of the extra coin traps lying about and you'll be all good. Make it to the star, collect as many gems as you want, and you'll be good to go for this one. On to level 2. And oddly enough here, we actually start to see some trouble. I thought this level was impossible. See, the way that I thought you were supposed to do it is that you get on the corners of the bridge as they're rotating. And then from there, rotate around the other corner and come back on the other side of the coins. But the problem with this is that during your second rotation, your backpack will actually clip with the hitbox of the invisible wall to your right, which always pushes you to collect that coin on the second bridge. And let me mention, this isn't fixed when you're small, because your hitbox actually stays the same between small and big Captain Toad, as well as coins generally having a sphere of motion for their hitbox. And all this came together and meant that I was always getting one coin on the stage. And I'll admit, I would have given up here, but then I started sleuthing. I was looking all over for info on this stuff, until my friend said look into the speedrun community, and it all changed. So I joined the Captain Toad speedrun Discord and got all of this help. In fact, the same question had already been answered before. Shout out to Veluxian for actually sharing the video on how to do this part. And you know what? Big shout out to the whole Captain Toad speedrun Discord. They were all super knowledgeable about the subject and they helped to answer all of my questions on how to do the run. And I couldn't have done it without them. Alright, so here's how we do the new strategy. First, wait for the bridge to line up straight, and then hold it with your cursor as you line up your right foot on this blade of grass to then go straight. You'll have just enough room on the edge to actually make it past all of the coins in one straight shot. An extra tip I would recommend here is to zoom in with the X button to actually get a real good shot. And remember this, because it's going to be super helpful for the rest of the run. And from there, you can beat the level with no coins, no problem. And compared to what we went through there, 3 and 4 are actually cakewalks. You're going to want to hang around level 4 for a while though, because you can actually farm 1-ups for no coins at the top of this pillar. And yeah, it takes a while, but we'll need a lot of these for the next few techniques. Plus, we can't exactly get 1-ups from coins anymore. And since each game over is going to taunt us with a coin minigame, I think it's best to avoid them. So I'd recommend you play your favorite music or podcast and then just blaze through this for a while until you're well into the double digits in life counter. Once we have enough lives, we actually head over to level 5. And honestly, it starts out simple enough. The whole level centers around double cherries. And from here, we split up the characters in the maze, watch for invisible coins, and we can even snag a gem on the way, no hassle. Oh boy, but when you get down, it's a whole other story. So here, we're actually stuck in small paths on both sides, with a daunting coin in front of both of our toads. Now, I must have spent a couple hours in total trying to research an out-of-box trick or some weird hitbox manipulation just to get past this, but no. We're locked in there with one way out, and we have to collect that coin. And believe you me, I tried all that I could think of here. I even switched between different versions because the 3DS in particular is known for less coins. But in everything I attempted, no luck. It's all just mandatory coins there, regardless of release. And to add insult to injury, you have to collect multiple coins that spawn after you collect that initial one. The game forces us well into the double digits to actually just get past this one segment. We even have to kill a Shy Guy. And after we walk through that cruel coin path with our 2 toads, it looks like we'll finish off the level with about a 30 coin range. But this can be deceiving, because if you finish the level with a clone, it actually gives you an extra 10 coins. So a minimum coin run requires you let the elevator go back down and then fling your buddy off the cliff. Moral of the story, this whole level just serves to make us feel bad. And to make matters worse, that level isn't skippable. But you know what is? The immediate next level. You've gotta be kidding me. To be truthful, everything else in Toad's world is fairly simple to do coinless. A wheel spin staircase? Sure, just one good alignment, we're done. A minecart level, so long as you don't toss a turnip, there's no coins on the track and you're good to go. Really, those are just a free pass. And like level 2, I actually thought 1-14 was impossible because of these invisible coins on the platform that you cross. If we look at the individual level speedrun here, it shows that you can just about make it across. See, Toad has very little air mobility compared to, say, Mario, but he can make just a few pixels. And a lot of the world record times for beating these individual levels are set through these key manipulations of pixels. So, for example, beating the first level in 10 seconds like Simon Z, which is just complete craziness. And worth noting here is that these strategies are finicky, and therefore not always seen in a full-out speedrun. But in IL, they run rampant. And I'd recommend you check out the IL strategy for any levels you have problems with during this run. And this allows us to get across with no issue and beat it with 0 coins. Perfect. Now, 115 would seem like a huge problem. It's full of dash pads, so our slow-going patience is practically impossible here. And it would seem like a huge issue, but unlike 1-5, it's completely skippable. And from there, we could beat Wingo with little problem. 3 gems, no coins, and then save Toadette to watch the credits roll. Okay, so Toad's run cannot be done coinless. And from what I can tell, the theoretical minimum is about 30 coins. But what about his better half? Can the Toadette campaign that we just opened up after Toad be beaten coinless? Alright, let's find out. World 2 Toadette. Here, we've got another 18 levels to test our no-coin knowledge. And like World 1, we can get past the first level with little issue. On this one actually, the slide might seem like a hassle, but you can just fall off this ledge to the rim down below and walk past all the coins. Which is unfortunate, because we'll need some serious cash to pay for Toadette's medical bills after that fall. Jeez. But then we get to level 2. And apparently the game has a habit of throwing us off right out the gate. So right here, there are 3 mandatory coins leaving this drawbridge, and a theoretical 2 after you drop down to the star. And as much as I try to research another way here, the individual level record even tanks 6 coins here. I just couldn't find a way to avoid it. And sadly, this is much more of a problem in Toadette's run than Toad's. 2-4, 3 unavoidable coins at the walkway. 2-5, the exit pipe gives you 1 right there. And actually, you would end up getting more unless you pull a certain fall skip from the top of the red pipe down to the tip of the stairs. Full props to Boogs and stuff for pointing this one out to me. I thought I'd have to go along the trail of Goomba floats and get way more coins. But from there, we can go on to 2-9's Dragodon's Revenge. And unfortunately, we have to pick up 1 coin from this little rotation, and there's no bailout from there. Let me tell you, after you've hit a certain amount of coins that are just necessary for you to hit, it gets a little disheartening. I mean, even the farewell cutscene has you getting coins. Seriously, this is just a point A to point B playable scene of riding the dragon out. And you can shoot fire to get more coins, but it's not really necessary. You can't even duck underneath them because the dragon's head is so gosh darn big that it hits the bottom. But whatever, there's no coin counter here or in the menu, so we'll just say it doesn't count, like the coins that Toad hoards away in his tent from earlier. You think you're so slick, Toad, but I see they're stashing away. Don't you lie to me, you little mushroom-headed freak. But if we want to talk about the most painful level of the Toadette run to go through, that's easy. It's 2-18, the final level. It's not even that hard, it's just a pain to watch unfold. Unlike the Wingo encounter at the end of Captain Toad's run, Toadette's story ends with a gauntlet of enemies. So we need to wipe out each and every enemy to open up the gates to proceed. And that means killing enemies, which of course means collecting coins for every single one. And the bridges are programmed to only open up after you kill every single enemy. And as far as I know, there's no way to get about this without collecting at least 30 coins. But that's what we call it for Toadette's story. And it leaves off on a cliffhanger as the two are split up once again, just like last time. And with that cutscene, we missed the mark on another coinless run. And from what I can tell, this one has a theoretical minimum of 40 coins. So at least Toadette's richer than Toad? That's a plus, I guess. But hey, the game itself said to be continued. So let's see if Chapter 3 comes through here. We're doing it, World 3 Toad and Toadette's story. Now this is definitely the longest world in the whole game, with 28 levels to play through. And right off the bat, we come to 3-1, and it already seems bad out the gate. Rotating platforms, goofy lava monsters, and coins littered about? Seriously, how can we get through this one? It's gonna take hours just to... Oh. Okay. You can hold the rotating platforms steady with the cursor. Alright, easy win. Honestly, that's near verbatim to my first experience to this stage. But sure enough, you can let the level just keep the change and bail out, no problem. Now, 3-2 would actually break the run here with how many spikes we have to kill. And you can't even avoid it by standing on the corners, since it'll actually course correct you over to kill the spike. Since once they seesaw back up, you actually gravitate towards head stomping these guys regardless. But like all our favorite run ruiners, it's completely skippable. Which I'm fine with. It's about time we could just cut past level 2. And we make it past 3-3 with little issue. But then we hit our first struggle of World 3. You see, even if you expertly use one of these pickaxes or choose to avoid them entirely, from what I can see, you'll always get at least one coin coming through. It'll just be taunting you up from your coin counter as you're forced to pick it up. Absolutely brutal. But the real no coin nightmare comes in 3-13, which really lives up to the golden part of its name. Packed to the brim. Even if you could somehow expertly avoid all of the coins on these platforms, the set trajectories of the cannons always fill your pockets with something. And let me tell you, it's downright annoying to spend all this time avoiding the coins just to see your counter end up near the 70 range at the end. And please, if there's some secret way to pass through this one coinless, I'd love to see it, but the greedy dragon wins this round. And from here, the game designers just start laughing at us. 3-18 chucks you 9 coins as you try to avoid the Magic Koopas. You see, at the end of the level, you actually have to kill each and every one of the Magic Koopas. 3 kills gives you 3 coins each, and 9 coins is what we end the level with. You have to collect a series of 3 coins one at a time to beat 3-19, which is unfortunate because it makes the whole DK throwback way less special. But of them, 321 probably stings the most. If you can get past those ghosts through some expert timing and cursor control, because yeah, you can't just blast them with light or they'll give you a coin on the death. You'll still beat the level with a theoretical 10 because collecting the star kills nearby enemies and gives you coins. I can't even get down to 10, but I was hoping to just clear it with 1 coin up until that final encounter sent me right to 11. It was a disappointing realization, to say the least. And from this point of the run, these little gem gates blocking off the next levels will become your biggest enemies. But so many of the gems that we need here are either blocked in coins or simply in levels off limits to the run. So our stash runs low by this point. And here's the go around I figured out midway to solve this all. You see, nearly every level that you can do coinless, you can do 3 gems. Let me explain. First, start off by playing a level through and snagging every single diamond in 1 life, regardless of coin counter. After that, find some way to kill off poor Toad and respawn. This is the reason you're going to need so many of those lives from 1-4, so make sure to go farm some extra before this point. And doing this, your coin counter is reset to 0, but you'll still have all the gems. Granted, you don't game over or leave the course. And when you beat the stage, it just goes off of what your coin counter was when you got the star. Nothing else. So technically, we can stay coinless using this technique. Is it cheap? Sure, but I'd also say it's fairly necessary and not really game breaking, since hey, we're the ones not following the rules here. Plus, it's not like the game hasn't gotten its fair share of cheap coin shots on us, so this is just our way of getting even. But after using that technique to stash up and blaze way past all the levels, doing our best to stay away from every coin we possibly can, we end up at our final encounter of the Wingo in level 328. This one is actually a breath of fresh air. It can be done entirely coinless. Just make sure to avoid the extra mushroom from Blue Toad if you're already big, and then work your way up to the bird. Send a couple of his turnips back at him, watch out for the lightning, stay on the platform during the wind gust, and you'll be watching the credits in no time. So there we have it, 3 campaigns that just flirt with the idea of a coinless run, but never really come through. Out of 64 levels, we have 19 that cannot be beaten coinless. And from those, we skip 4, and we find out we could beat around 76.5% of the game coinless. And hey, a C+ is passing, but I'm still not satisfied. It's the reason we still got so much time left in this video. I mean, Nintendo clearly didn't want to give up on Captain Toad. It's the reason they made 3 different versions of this game, so there's no way I could just give up on the challenge just yet. We have to go even further. Alright, so after we beat the main story of these games, they each pack in a bit of extra content as bonus reference to a mainline Mario 3D game. In the Switch and 3DS versions, we got Odyssey levels. And on the Wii U, we got 4 levels from Super Mario 3D World. So let's start off with the Odyssey levels, which should be familiar territory. We kick off with Toast Arena, which seems good at first. I mean, it even allows us to sneakily avoid past enemies with touch blocks. But eventually, after raising the pyramid, we're forced to go down and snag a couple extra coins in the pit down below. So that one's a fail. On to the next. Then we get to a cart crusade through the Cascade Kingdom. Like we mentioned earlier, the minecart levels are just a breeze. Just don't shoot. And you don't have to worry about gems or anything extra here, because they aren't an issue. We already have all the levels unlocked. Alright, so 1 for 2. Let's go to Metro Kingdom. This one's definitely the weirdest of the bunch. At first, it seems like a no-go because of walking through this building and collecting all the coins on the stairs. But after making your way down in the power plant sewers, if you die, then the trick from earlier respawns you inside that area, and you can beat it coinless. I stumbled across this one by falling into the pit, and after finding it on a whim, I decided to go back to Toast Arena again. But as it turns out, the respawn brings you right back to the point before you pull the switch, making it still impossible to do coinless. And the last one, Luncheon, is a perfect storm of gold. We've got dash pads and multi-cherries that give the speed and coverage to completely counterbalance our techniques of patience and hitbox manipulation. We walk away from this one a rich man, albeit a loss of the challenge. So that makes Odyssey a 50% success rate, and maybe even like a 35% if we adjust for goofing the system within New Donk City's power plant. I don't know. From here, I hopped back to the Wii U version to try out the 3D World levels. And at first, it looked promising. Super Bell Hill gives plenty of leeway to avoid coins, and the ladders are clean and easy ways to avoid coins when heading up. From there, we can take an alternative route to the star and end up no hassle. Conch Canyon actually has some weirder pacing with a few more enemies. The biggest struggle here is probably the split up bridge sliding back and forth between gold coins. But those can be easily avoided by hanging to the right and timing your windows to when it's stationary. Shadowplay Alley seems hopeful at the start. Just avoid the piranha plant and its reckless behavior, sneak past all the fuzzies, and time the platforms for an easy escape. But about halfway in the level, we meet our greatest disadvantage, a 2D side-scrolling section. And when we can't jump or run over them, we're forced to collect some coins to reach the exit on the right. Yeah, that one stings. Clear Pipe offers up the same glimmer of chance. So much of the level can be bested without collecting a single coin. But there are 3 mandatory ones that you hit in either pipe pathway, giving us the same 50% average we had with the Odyssey levels. Okay, so those results seem pretty doom and gloom, but maybe we need to revisit that 3D world idea. After all, Captain Toad started off in that game. Could his debut be our only hope for a coinless? So we take a shot at the first level and it's a complete layup with no chance of us scoring any extra coins on the right path. We just go as you typically would to collect all 5 stars and we're set. So far so good. The second level gets a lot trickier here, as it offers up the biggest challenge in a no coins run. Coins. But while it might seem more difficult to avoid, we can easily skate by them by hugging to the wall of the tunnel and from there get a straight shot to collect all of the 5 stars. 3 and 4 fall back to our trusty format in the first level. No coins to worry about, and I'll gladly take that. I think there's been far too many coins in this coinless run as it is. 5 gives a bit more trouble with a rotating P-switch structure and the fact that it actually has coins. And I probably had more trouble with this one, since I couldn't quite wrap my head around how each P-switch rotated the level. But after figuring that out, turns out this one is yet another one that we can actually beat coinless. Just make sure to hold to the right past the purple slime in this drop and move along past. 6 is definitely the most difficult of any of these. The timing of the lava rise and fall does not play nice with Toad's slow-moving run, especially since this game has the other system of running for a certain amount of time before hitting your max speed. After many attempts, I finally made it past all of the awkward timing and fan-blowing mechanics of the Wii U until finally catching a glimpse of that final star. Aligning the shot, I ride at the fan and just narrowly avoid the coins to then make my way through the hole and kill the piranha plant. 1 coin. 1 single coin. It requires you to get 1 coin just to beat the 3D world levels. Alright, so while I was working on the script and reviewing the footage, another idea popped in my head. Could we use the invincibility frames to skate past the enemy and therefore not get the coin to kill him? Well, honestly, I haven't been good enough to figure it out. If I did, here's footage of that. But if not, then here's an open invitation to one of you to actually figure out if this is possible coinless. I would love to see that happen. Skip the tweets if you find anything out. But if that doesn't work, at least we can beat the demo coinless. All 3 levels can be done without a problem for the low price of free. So go nuts. Hey there, throw a turnip at this one in the top right to see what makes a good platformer boss, or damage boost to this one in the bottom right for another video. If you want to support the channel and get new analytical uploads every week, then track that subscribe button down below. But until then, take care, and you have a good one, alright?